So Eli's last name is Cunha.
Gotcha. All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to our services here at Temple Sinai in Reno. I'm Rabbi Benjamin Zober, and I am so glad to welcome so many of you here tonight, whether in person or online. It is wonderful to see some old friends and some new friends. A couple of bits of housekeeping before we begin. The first is that we are praying out of Mishkan Tefillah, as we almost always do. It is a Reform Siddur. If you need a copy of it and you are online, you can find a download at sinaireno.org/live. It will have everything you need. And if you are here for the first time, or if it's been a while since you have come and you need a little refresher, the way that we generally use the book is, first of all, that it goes from right to left. We were first, so I don't say that it opens backwards. And generally what happens is on the right hand side of the page, the right page, we have Hebrew with translation and transliteration, and on the left side are interpretive readings and reflections that give us other ways to approach prayer and get into that prayerful frame of mind. And generally what we will do is we will do one page or the other and then switch. I will do my absolute best to call out the page numbers and signal everyone like we're landing a 747. One way or another, though, we will all end in the same place, which is the Oneg in the social hall at the other end of the building. We begin with a reading that is found in the middle of page 3. Please join me. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. And it is now my honor to invite up Barbara Weinberg to light our Shabbat lights. The prayer can be found on page 2 in your books.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. We continue our welcoming of Shabbat with some songs. Our first song can be found on page 10, Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achot gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achot gam yachad. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחות גם יחד. And we turn to page 344. Now, don't get too excited. We're going to turn back the other way, and we've got some other stuff in the middle of the book. But we're going to be singing Shir Chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song. And we turn now to page 20 for Lecha Dodi. As is our custom, we will be singing verses 1 to 5 and 9. And when we reach the 9th and final verse, I invite you, if you are able or comfortable to do so, to rise and turn to the entrance of whatever space you find yourself in as we welcome in the Sabbath bride. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemu tiferet v'latila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, Ki hi mekor habracha, V'rosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, Kiva orechu mi ori, Uri, shir daveri, Kavod Adonai alaik nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Bo'ui v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tola, Toch emunei am segula, Bo'ui chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. a fun little tip, if you're coming to services and you're running late, if you're feeling really, cheeky, if you wait to come in while we're doing a Lachad Odi, it's like everyone's rising to greet you and welcome in. You can be the Sabbath bride. Late or early, we're always glad to have everyone. We turn to the Chatzi Kaddish, which can be found on page 26. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchayedecho beit Yisrael. Bagala, uvizmahan kariv, vimeru, amen. Yehesh merabba mevarach, oyalamu al mehalmaya, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, v'yitare, v'yithalal, Shemei d'Kudesha barichu, Leila mikol birchata v'ashirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran be'alma, V'meru, Amen. We turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu, and I invite you, if you are comfortable, to please rise. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. We turn now to page 31, and we read together at the very, very bottom of the page. I know that the tide is not an independent force, but merely the submission of the water to the movement of the moon in its orbit. And this orbit in its turn is subject to other orbits which are mightier far than it. And so the whole universe is held fast in the clinging grip of strong hands, the forces of earth and sun, planets and comets, galaxies, blindly erupting forces, ceaselessly stirring in ripples of silence to the very depth of black space. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. We read together the English on page 32. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema can be found on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. We continue together with the V'ahavta, page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavacha Hayom alevavecha, v'shinantam livanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, u'shachbecha uvkumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha. Urtavtam amezuzot beitecha uvihisharecha leman tizkaru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. We turn now to page 41. We read together. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Michamocha can be found on page 40. Mi chamocha be'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, Bokei ayam livnei Moshe, zelianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar kifar Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. We turn to page 43, and we read together on the top of the page. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haparei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Yismachu can be found on the very next page. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'koreh oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'koreh oneg Shabbat. Aham mekadashei, mekadashei shavi Shabbat. Kulam yizbehu, v'yitimbu v'tu v'cha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'koreh oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'koreh oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidasho Shabbat. Chemdad yamim, oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, koreh oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, koreh oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh v'reshit Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh v'reshit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'koreh oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'koreh oneg Shabbat. We turn now to the Amidah, which begins on page 46. I invite you, if you are able, to please rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yadi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot v'imaot, u'mevi geula livnei bneihem, leman shemo be'ahava. Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor leolam Adonai, mechayeh hakol ata rav leoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, sohomer noflim berofeh holim. Umatir asurim, umakayem emunato, lishenei afar, milchamocha al gevurot, umidom elav. ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהלוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We continue silently to page 62. Please be seated when you are finished or when you feel ready. Oseh Shalom can be found on page 62. Oseh Shalom bimroma, Uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Imru amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We turn at this time to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our Torah service this evening. We begin with the reading in the middle of the page on 245. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. At this time, it is my honor to invite up Mike and Eli, our Ark openers, and to carry our Torah this evening, I invite up John Louie. We all rise. Ki mitzion teisei Torah Tzion, Teisei Torah, Udevar Adonai, Merushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadol Adonai Iti Uneromama Shemo Yachdav Lecha Adonai Hagedula V'Hagivura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz Ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha V'amit na'aseh lechol erosh Al shlosha devarim Al shlosha devarim Al shlosha devarim Ha'olam omed Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah I'll take that Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You may be seated. Before I call our Aliyah this evening, I want to say that this is a really special and wonderful occasion because we have someone who is, I believe, chanting for the first time, although he is no stranger to being up on the bima. Barton Barrow has been working incredibly hard with Dr. Gingold to chant Torah this evening. So we are calling Barton up to Torah to not only offer our Aliyah, but also to chant Torah for this evening. Ya'amod Benyamin ben Isha v'Miriam la'aliyah ha'Torah. Looking familiar to you? Yeah. All right.
Baruch Hu es Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher b'chabanu michol ha'amim. V'nosein lanu es toroso. Baruch atah Adonai nosein ha'torah.
I will give you this.
Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael v'yamotah eleihem b'voachem el ha'oretz asher ani mevi esrehem Shama Vahayaha Ba'al Cholchem Melechem Ha'oretz Tarimu Seruma Ladonai. Reshis arisosechem chaloha torimu seruma kishrumas goren hen tarimu osaha mereshis arisosechem titnu ladonai teruma lidoro sechem.
Yasher koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nosan lanu Torah emes v'chaye olam notah b'socheinu. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. Well, do we have a blessing for you? Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you as you have come up to Torah in honor of God and Torah. May you merit from the Holy One of blessing protection, rescue from any trouble or distress, and from any illness, minor or serious. May God send blessing and success in your every endeavor, together with all Israel, and let us say, Amen. And I have a little something for you. I wanted to, like we do with our bar and bat mitzvah kids, to have candy and everyone throw candy at you. And Rabbi Sarah said, maybe you just hand him something so he remembers the sweetness of this moment. Yasher koach to you. We hope this is the first of many times that you come and chant for us. Thank you. We turn our thoughts now to those in our community who need a bit of healing, whether it is body or mind or spirit. At this time, we are thinking of Laura Bartleson, Kathy Bartlett, Tracy Bartlett, Laura Borsoff, Sue Burkhammer, Laura Cohen, Robert Dickens, Joel Flammenbaum, Jeffrey Four, Carol Garris, Sandra Goodman, Alan Gordon, Stephen Gould, Jane Grossman, Margaret Haberlin, Carrie Hayden, Marlene Harris, Debbie Herman, Harvey Higdon, Rabbi Norman Hirsch, Scott Johnson, Kevin Knox, Iris Law, Harav Miriam Bat Shifra V'Pinchas, Harav Miriam Yael Chaya Bat Sarah, Tim Ober, Carol Pevney, Arlene Puslins, Millie Ralston, Judy Ramos, Sarah Bat Chava, Shana Bracha Bat Esther Malka, Marianne Schenker, Phil Shallett, Valerie Stakes, Bobby Wells, Usher Zalech, everyone affected by the coronavirus and long COVID, and the Jewish and other communities of Ukraine. If there are other names that you would like to share, I invite you online to do so by sharing their name in the comments, and if you are present here, when my eyes meet yours.
Alexander Louie,
David Clay, Melissa Peters, Carrie Cameron, and Nicole.
All those we are considering, our song and prayer of healing can be found on page 253. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habrecha Eloheinu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habrecha liavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. At this time, it is my honor to invite up Matt Lakoff and Nikki and Ellis for Hagbah and Galila to raise and dress our Torah. We all rise.
Looking to redeem myself from last week.
Oh, you got this. You got this.
Big old fish.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai. Page 256. Eitz chaim hi lemachzikim ba v'tocheha meushar teracheha darchei noam v'chol nativatecha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashua Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekerem. Thank you. Wow, Yashikoa. You may be seated. Once upon a time, there was a king, and his child became very ill. So he gathered together all of the best doctors and wisest people in the kingdom looking for a solution. And they all agreed that the child could only be cured by drinking the milk of a lioness. Well, I don't have to tell you that it's not exactly easy to milk a lion. But one person was brave enough to try. So he went out into the field and saw the lions from far away. And he got about as close as he could before they started to get curious. And he threw a piece of meat towards them. And they ate the meat. And the next day he went back out, and he was able to get a little closer. Threw out the meat, each day doing this until he could get close enough and was comfortable enough around the lions to get the milk. As he began the journey back to the king, the parts of his body started to have an argument. Each one of them convinced that it was the most important. First, the legs spoke up. Had we not carried him all the way out to the fields, he would not have been able to do any of the things he did. Oh, nonsense, said the arms. If we were not there to throw the meat, he would have been devoured immediately. The mind spoke up and said, I think I had something to do with formulating this plan. Let's not discount what I've done. And then the tongue spoke up. I think, oh, hush, they said. You had no part in any of this. The man continued on his journey and eventually made it back to the king. And he walks in holding this milk aloft. And he says, Your Majesty, I have brought you the milk of a dog. The milk of a dog, roared the king. How dare you do this? This is an insult to me and to my kingdom. Guards, take him away immediately and have him executed. Suddenly, the rest of the body parts were very interested in what the tongue might say now. Save us, please, tongue, say something. Your Majesty, wait, he said, just as he would do. I was so nervous being before you that I said the wrong thing. But if you don't believe me, try. And if the milk saves your son, then not only will he be saved, but you'll see that I was mistaken in what I said. Sure enough, the king gives the milk to his son, and he's saved. And the man's life is spared. And all of the body truly understood just how powerful our tongues can be. At the same time, we understand that our tongues can get us into quite a bit of trouble. This week in our Torah portion, we learn of 10 spies who went out to scout the promised land and what happened when they lied on their return home. Now, 2 of the scouts did return and speak favorably of the promised land. The other 10 told fanciful tales, terrifying tales of giants and a land that could not be conquered. They said the land was stronger than them and that it devours its settlers. At this dire report, the people begin to panic, and they clamor to go back to servitude in Egypt rather than die in the desert. Moses and Aaron try to intervene, and the people threaten to stone them. Seeing all of this play out, God threatens to wipe out the entire nation of Israelites. It is then only Moses' quick thinking and smooth tongue that saves us from annihilation. Instead, God forces us to wander in the desert for 40 years until all who came out of Egypt have died. And as for the faithless spies, God wipes them out with a plague. Why such harsh punishment? Why were the spies treated in this way? The spies saw a challenge in front of them, and they just weren't up to it. And there were 10 spies who failed this challenge. 10 of 12. When 10 out of 12 people in an activity have doubts, it is not entirely unreasonable to think that maybe they have a point. Commentators and scholars have debated the nature of their cowardice and the exact reason for God's severe punishment for as long as we've had this text. Was it a lack of faith? Did they refuse to believe that God would help them win? Or was it just that for some reason they chose to lie? The Talmud offers another explanation. Lashon hara, malicious speech. We have encountered this idea before when we learned about Mitzorah, this strange malady that afflicted Miriam we came to understand that it was caused by her speech, her gossiping and maligning her brother and his wife. In this case, though, the slanderous speech was about Israel. From the Talmud, we learn something else. Rabbi Elazar ben Perata teaches us just how powerful malicious speech can be. From where do we learn this, he asks? From the punishment received by the spies. And if one who defames the wood and the rocks of Eretz Yisrael received such a severe punishment, then with regard to one who defames another person, all the more so will they be punished severely. Rabbi Jeremy Marquise asks, if the spies were punished for comments about land, how much more punishment might they receive had they spoken that way about people? In truth, we cannot slander the soil nor libel the land, but we can defame one another. Rabbi Joseph Telushkin teaches that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, is not a Jewish value. In Judaism, words are quite literally things. Devarim means both words and things. Words in our tradition have more substance than we realize and can do great harm if used carelessly or maliciously. There is a story of a rabbi who went to spend Shabbat with a friend. When they all sat down for their Shabbat meal, the challah was left out, uncovered. The host saw this and began to shout and berate his wife for her oversight. The rabbi looked curiously at him. "I'm not familiar with this custom of covering the bread," he said. The man explained to his guest that covering the challah is a way to keep it from getting jealous, because it is the last thing on the table to receive a blessing. The rabbi scrunched up his face. "As I said, I'm not familiar with that custom, but I do know this. Bread does not have feelings, but your wife does. While I do not know if you upset the bread, I am certain that you have hurt your wife." He demanded an apology, and his friend did so and understood. In the Torah, the spies did not hurt the land by speaking falsely about it, but their punishment is a reminder of how powerful our words can be, and a warning about the consequences of malicious or hurtful speech. And if sometimes we forget that, and we hurt one another with our words, may things like covering the challah remind us about this and encourage us to apologize and to be more careful with what we say and how we use the power of our tongues. Shabbat Shalom. At this time, we turn to the Aleinu, which can be found on page 282. It is my honor to invite up Bonnie Martin, and I invite you all, if you are able, to please rise. That's why I stay up here. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורר עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O make all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. 287. V'ne'eman v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Thank you. You may be seated. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. At this time, we remember David Ben Avraham, Dave Levine, Carl Weinberg, Al Grossman, Jeff Blank, Richie Zorn, Catherine Linsky-Foley, Henry Hank Froelich, Setsuko Olenichek, Barbara Gonzalez, Aaron Yosef, Tova Batmayir Vatirtza, Raymond Russell Riker, Judith Tamkin, David Torgman, Lorenzo Otero, Anita Goldwasser, Jamie Smith, Mark Umlas, Francine Catherine Barr. And on this Shabbat, we commemorate the yard sites of Marjorie Bartlett, Shirley Bennett, Yetta Berger, Selma E. Blum, Scott Boris, Helen Brustein, Joe Dworkin, William Friedlander, Leona Gordon, Carol Ann Gordon, Sis Greenspan, Harry O. Horwitz, Frida Javinsky, Jeffrey L. Cagle, Daniel Cowler, Albert Langer, Edna Mays, Nathan Nussbaum, Donald G. Elsner, Julius Reusch, Annette Rutkovitz, Shirley Silverman, Minnie Steinberg, and Claire A.P. Duffier Jr. If there are other names that you wish to add, again, I invite you to do so in the comments online or present when my eyes meet yours.
Donna Cole,
Mike and Trina Gutierrez.
Allison LaVoe,
Buzz Houghton, Louise Curtis, and Patrick Flanagan Sr.
For all of those names and the ones that we hold in our hearts, Kaddish Yatom can be found on page 294. If it is your custom, I invite you to please rise. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma, Divrach, Lirute, V'yamlich Malchute, B'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, V'zman, Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach, Le'olam, U'olmei Almaya, Yitbarach, V'ishtabach, V'itpa'ar, V'itromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitale, V'yithalal, Shmei Dekudesha, Barichu, Le'ela, Min Kol Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbachata, V'nechemata, Ta'amiran, Be'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, B'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all who mourn, to which we say, Amen. You may be seated. I would like to invite up Tova to give us some announcements this evening. We'll give her a moment to get up there as she's doing double duty and also running our live stream.
It's been very cinematic tonight.
Good. I would expect nothing less.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Nice to see so many familiar faces. Thank you, and another Yasher Koach to Bart. You did a fantastic job. If anybody else would like to share in that journey, and I'm sure the immense sense of accomplishment that comes from chanting Torah, please let us know. Marilyn Roberts would be happy to get you into the pipeline on the schedule, and lots of runway, months, as many months as you need to get ready. Take time to prepare yourself for this moment. So thank you. Thank you so much to board member John Louie for greeting tonight. I was running your tech. Our Oneg this evening is hosted by the Levine family. And let's see, please, so the Oneg this evening, so for some of you are new faces here, so after the service ends, we'll all adjourn to the social hall, which is a big L down the way, and we'll have some kiddush, some blessings over the bread and wine, and then we'll all enjoy a bite together and a little schmooze. As you walk down that hallway, you're going to pass some beautifully redone volunteer boards on your right-hand side. I definitely encourage you to not hurry past them just to get to the buffet. Take a moment and see the cards that we have posted. These are, we get a lot of calls. How can I help? How can I get more involved? And we're trying to make that be a location where you can see what needs we might have here at Temple Sinai. And also there's slips of paper where you could post your own. If there was something that you felt you needed help with and that this community could rise to that occasion, please let us know. So in-person Oneg will happen down in the social hall. Our Yisma Zoom, so our chat virtually will take place on Zoom for those attending in TV land immediately following the service. This Saturday at 10 a.m. will be Torah study via Zoom. The details for that can be found at sinaireno.org/Torah study. If you would like to host an Oneg, this is a wonderful way to celebrate an accomplishment in your life or honor somebody in your family, anniversaries, birthdays. You can sign up to host an Oneg on our app. You can go do it through our website, or there's a physical sign-up sheet in the social hall. On Sunday, June 18th, this is a continuation of our ongoing Sundays of sprucing up Sinai. So it's an informal standing, get together at 9 a.m. Here at the Temple Sinai grounds to pull weeds. And once all the weeds are done, we'll move on to some other things that might need to be done. But it's a chance to do a little bit to give back to Temple Sinai and build some friends while we're doing it. So it'll be an ongoing Sunday morning event throughout the summer. On Tuesday, June 20th, that will be lunch with the rabbis. So if you bring your own sack lunch here at the synagogue at noon, you can have the nearly undivided attention of your rabbinic team and pepper them with whatever questions you might like. That same Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. will be our second crafters schmooze. So this is kind of like, we're trying to turn this into like a once a month thing. So if you crochet, do embroidery, make paper dolls, tell me what your craft is. Don't just tell me, show me. Come to crafters schmooze, bring your scissors and your snips, and we'll show off for each other. Applies there. Let's see. So these are a lot. Sometimes I have to decide if I really want to read them all. Coming up on Friday, June 30th is going to be our Shabbat under the stars at Callahan Park. So this will be an outdoor service. It's really beautiful. We wait all year for the weather to get nice so that we can do these. We try to do some in the north and some in the south. So Callahan Park is near Galena. So this will be a south event. That'll be at 6 p.m. So it is earlier than our usual Kabbalat Shabbat because we want to catch some of the good daylight as it's turning to dusk. Roll into night, roll into dark. And I think that is it for right now without getting repetitive about our weekly events. Yes, Rabbi Myra.
Sunday is Juneteenth, and there's a big celebration at Idlewild from noon to 5.
Oh, thank you so much. So for the benefit of everybody at the microphone, Juneteenth, so Sunday will be is it the city of Reno that's hosting the celebrations?
I don't know if it's NIPCAS or the city of Reno.
Okay, but
Black Collective, like somebody. Anyway, it's a big deal. There'll be food, there'll be music, there'll be booths, there'll be all kinds of stuff.
okay, so Juneteenth, Sunday, Idlewild Park, noon until 5 p.m. I hope I got all those details right. And it's gonna be a doing. So food, people, booths. So please definitely go in and support this event in this long overdue holiday. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. Okay, I think that is everything I have to say to you. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Thank you, Tova. Thank you for the announcements and our running our stream and all the things this evening. All right, our closing number this evening is Adon Olam, which can be found on page 321. Adon Olam Hashem Allah, B'terem kol yitzir nivra, li'et nahasa v'chefso kol, azai melech shemo nikra, v'yacharei kichot hakol. Livado imlo nora, v'hu haya v'hu oveh, V'hu hiye b'tifara, v'hu echad v'yein sheni, l'hamshilo l'hachbira, b'li reshi b'li tachlit, v'lo ha'od v'hamizra, v'hu eli v'chai goali, v'tzur chevli v'yetzara, V'hu nisi umanos li, manat kosi, b'yom ekra biyado, afkid ruchi, v'etishan v'yahira, v'im ruchi geviyati, Adonai li v'lo ira. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I look forward to seeing you at the Oneg.
Shabbat Shalom, Barton. Good job.